Hi, Assalamu alaikum. Surmi Salim with you. Today we'll be starting regarding new subject OBG. So before going to the subject, we will briefly discuss regarding female reproductive organs. So we will go through the slides. Okay. The female reproductive organs are entirely classified into external genital organs, internal genital organs, and accessory genital organs also. Okay, so now we will be going through external genital organs. So the external genital organs are collectively called the vulva or pudendum. Okay, and it consists of mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, clitoris, and the vestibule. Okay, then the internal genital organs consist of the vagina, the uterus, the fallopian tube, and the ovaries. So we will have a quick review to all those structures in next slide. So here we will be dealing with the external genital organs or the vulva. So the first portion is called the mons pubis. See, the mons pubis is the hairy, skin-covered subcutaneous tissue that you can see over here. Okay, this portion. This is called the mons pubis. Next, we will see the labia majora. See, labia majora is the elevated subcutaneous skin tissue that is seen laterally. That means this one. Okay, this is the elevated subcutaneous skin tissue that is seen laterally, and it is fusing posteriorly at a fissure called posterior commissure. Okay, so the labia majora, it is fusing posteriorly at the fissure called posterior commissure, and the homologous structure that resemble labia majora in male is scrotum. Okay, next one, labia minora. So the labia minora is medial to labia majora. So that means here, this one. Okay, it is medial to labia majora, and it fuses anteriorly at here. See, it fuses anteriorly at clitoris, and posteriorly or lowerly it fuses at a portion that is called the fourchette. Okay, so the labia minora anteriorly fuse at a portion called clitoris, and it fuse posteriorly at a portion called fourchette. And the homologous structure of labia minora in male is the ventral aspect of penis. Okay, it's most commonly asked questions. Next is clitoris. See, the clitoris is the cylindrical erectile body that is found here. Okay, the cylindrical erectile body, and the homologous structure for clitoris in male is glans penis. Okay, now we will see what is vestibule. The vestibule is the triangular portion that is seen between the clitoris and fourchette. Okay, or we can tell it is the portion or the triangular portion that is seen anteriorly from the clitoris and posteriorly from the fourchette. Okay, so these are the external genital organs, which are mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, then clitoris, and the vestibule. Okay, now we will see what are the opening of vestibule. See, this is another important question which will be asked, like which are the opening of vestibule, except like that. So the opening of vestibule include, so what is a vestibule? First of all, the triangular portion that you can see between the clitoris and the fourchette. So we will see which are the openings of the vestibule. The first opening is the urethral opening. This one, see, this one, urethral opening. Next one is the vaginal orifice or the vaginal opening. See, this is the one, second one. Next is the opening of Bartholin's gland. That means, see, you can see two glands that is opening to the vestibule, right? See, these are the gland that produces mucus, alkaline mucus for sexual intercourse. Okay, and this is situated in the superficial perineal pouch. Okay, superficial perineal pouch, and it opens and produces mucus for the sexual intercourse. So what is the next one? Duct of Skinner's gland. Duct of Skinner's gland we cannot see here. This is seen periurethral space. That means here and here. So these are the most common opening or the 4 opening of the vestibule. Which are the urethral opening, vaginal opening, opening of Bartholin gland, and the opening of duct of Skinner's gland. Okay. So we deal with external genital organs, then the opening of vestibule. Next one is the internal genital organs. So the internal genital organs consist of the vagina, then the uterus, the fallopian tube, and finally the ovary. We will see one by one. See, this is the vagina, or the vagina is otherwise called the organ of copulation or the birth canal. As you can see, this is a tube-like structure, right? So it consists of walls. See, the anterior wall and the posterior wall. Okay. See, you can see here the anterior wall is the shortest one and the posterior wall is the longest one. So here the anterior wall is 7 centimeter. Posterior wall is 9 centimeter. See, the upper portion of the vagina. See here, the cervix is projecting or protruding to the upper portion of the vagina, and it is creating a portion here. See, and this is called the fornix. Okay, here, this is called the fornix, and this fornix is divided into 2. The anterior fornix, which is called the shallow fornix, and the posterior fornix, which is called the deepest fornix. And there is also lateral fornix. Okay. Now we will see. So we deal with the fornix. Now the vagina is lined by means of which epithelium? Stratified squamous epithelium. The vagina is lined by means of stratified squamous epithelium. Now, which is the inhabitant bacteria that is seen in the vagina? See, which is the inhabitant bacteria that is seen in the vagina? The Doderlin bacilli or Doderlin bacteria. So, it is a type of lactobacilli that produces lactic acid. Okay. So, as it produces lactic acid, the medium or the pH of the vagina is 4 to 5. See, the vagina has relations. It is anteriorly related to the urinary bladder and the urethra, most commonly asked question. And it is posteriorly in relation with pouch of Douglas. And it is laterally in relation with levator ani muscles. The levator ani muscles are the muscles that held all the pelvic organs in place. Okay. So as we tell earlier, the vagina has a pH of the vagina has a pH of 4 to 5. Okay. Next question, most commonly asked question is maximum acidicity, or the vagina become more acidic or the maximum acidic in which condition? The answer is pregnancy. Okay. And the secretion or the vagina is having maximum alkalinity or it become maximum basic in which condition? During menstruation and menopause. Okay. So these are the important points or important questions that is asked from vagina. Next, we will see the uterus. So the uterus, see, this is the portion of the uterus. So the uterus is pyriform, pear-shaped organ, most commonly asked question. So it is anti-flexed, anti-version. So anti-version, anti-flexed position. So it most commonly asked the position of the uterus like retroversed, like that. Okay. So it is also important point. Next one is the parts of uterus. So the uterus is divided into the body or the corpus. Another name of the body is called corpus, then the isthmus, and then the cervix. Okay. Next one. The uterus is lined by means of which epithelium? Columnar epithelium. Now we will see the body. So the body of the uterus consists of 3 layers. See, what are these 3 layers? The outer layer is called the perimetrium or the serous layer. Okay. Then the middle layer is called the myometrium or the smooth muscle layer, in which the muscles are arranged outer longitudinal, inner crisscross, and middle crisscross, and inner circular. Okay. Now, isthmus. See, isthmus means here you can see here this portion up to this portion. That means the anatomical os, the internal os. Okay, we have internal os and external os here. External os is here and the internal os is here. And the isthmus is the portion that's seen between the anatomical internal os and the histological internal os. So the portion that's seen between the internal anatomical internal os and the histological internal os is called the isthmus, and it is 0.5 centimeter. Now we will see what is cervix. So the cervix is the portion that is below the, see, that is below this region. See, so this is called the cervix, and it is 2.5 centimeter. It is a cylindrical structure that extends up to the external os. Okay, and the cervix is divided into endocervix and ectocervix. Okay, and the endocervix is lined by columnar epithelium and the ectocervix is lined by stratified squamous epithelium, and the junction between the squamous and the columnar epithelium is the most common site for CA cervix. Okay, so these are the important points for the uterus. Now we will see the weight of uterus. So the weight of uterus in non-pregnant ladies is 50 to 60 gram, and for the pregnant ladies is 1000 gram. And for the weight of the uterus immediately after birth, most commonly asked question is 1000 gram. And what is the length of uterus in non-pregnant ladies? It is 7 centimeter or 5 to 7 centimeter, and the pregnant ladies is 3 to 4 centimeter. Now the volume of uterus in pregnant ladies is 500 ml and non-pregnant ladies is around 10 ml. So these are the important questions that is asked from the topic of uterus. Next one, we will see the fallopian tube or the oviduct or the uterine tube. So now we will see part by part. The first one is the infundibulum. See, the infundibulum means this portion. It is 1.25 centimeter and it consists of finger-like projections called the fimbriae, which held the ovary. Okay, so this is the first portion. Now, as a whole, the fallopian tube is around 10 to 12 centimeter. Okay, and the infundibulum is 1.25 centimeter. See, this portion that is next to the infundibulum is called the ampulla, and the ampulla consists of 5 centimeter. This is the site of fertilization. So which is the site of fertilization in the fallopian tube? It is the ampulla, and it is the most common site of ectopic pregnancy also. This is another question. Now we will see the next portion that is called the curved portion, that is called the isthmus, and it is around 2.5 centimeter, and this site is most commonly used for tubectomy. Okay, now we will see the intramural part or the interstitial part. This is around 1.25 centimeter and this is the narrowest part. The other name of the intramural part is called the anatomical sphincter, and the isthmus is otherwise called the physiological sphincter. Okay, now the whole this fallopian tube is lined by ciliated columnar epithelium. Okay, the portion that is the portion of the fallopian tube that is opening to the uterus is called cornua. Okay, next is the functions of oviduct. The functions of oviduct or the uterine tube or the fallopian tube is transportation of gametes, facilitation of fertilization, and survival of the zygote. Okay, so these are the important questions asked from fallopian tube. Next, we will see the ovary. See, the ovary is called the paired sex organ. Okay, that have a mucoprotein envelope called zona pellucida. Okay, and it is what color? Oval, pink color, and oval in shape. Okay, and it is covered by germinal epithelium. The length of the ovary is 3 centimeter, breadth 2 centimeter, and the width is 1 centimeter. So we deal with female reproductive organs, and which one? External one and the internal one. Okay, so keep on watching. We will deal in next class the accessory sexual organs, and then we will start with the pregnancy. Okay, so keep on watching my channel. Still you didn't subscribe my channel, please subscribe, like, comment, and share to your friends. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.